Welcome to this presentation on dual flow hubs and cargo hitching. My name is Domien Stubbe. I'm a project leader for VIL. VIL is a spearhead cluster for logistics in Flanders, and we are a partner in the ULaaDS project, a Horizon 2020 project that is a sister project of LEAD. What does ULaaDS stand for? It stands for Urban Logistics as an On-Demand Service. It's a project that started in September 2020 and it will last until the end of this year. About 8 countries are involved and 24 partners. Within ULaaDS, we are testing out new business models for sustainable logistics, and we do this in 3 trial cities: Groningen, Bremen and Mechelen. The sustainable last mile business models are based on 2 principles: the principle of collaborative and shared urban logistics and the principle of combining passenger and urban freight networks. They are all about creating sustainability on the field of people, planet and profit. Let's take a look at what we are doing in Groningen. Around the city of Groningen there are 7 park and ride parkings. One of those parkings, the one of Hoogkerk, we will be transforming into a combined passenger and logistics hub. At this hub, we are placing cargo bikes for service logistics, but also a public locker. A public locker open for as well the people, but also for all the logistics providers to use. As easy as it sounds on paper, the more difficult that it was in real life. First of all, very practical, bringing electricity to the point where the locker should stand was not an easy task, finding an electrician to start with. At the other hand, the land use planning department of the city came up with some quite practical details on the safety level. Namely, the locker would block the view of the cameras and does not provide safety or security for all passengers. At the other side, convincing logistics providers is also a difficulty. The biggest player in the Netherlands refused to use the lockers as they have their own systems. In this case, of course, if it's a public locker, you need to find a way for the city to convince those logistics providers. In Mechelen, there is a focus on a whole other thing: cargo hitching with autonomous vehicles. During the summer of 2022, we installed an autonomous vehicle and we let it drive around a business park on a trajectory of about 2.5 kilometers. This was the first time in Flanders, Belgium, that an autonomous vehicle was driving on the open road with real-life traffic conditions. This came with a lot of media attention, of course, and here you see the alderman of Mechelen explaining it to the national news. There were 6 stops along the road where people could jump up or step down. We installed a parcel locker also in the vehicle, a smart locker from Swipbox, operational by bpost, the national courier service. People could call up the vehicle on an app, and there they could use the bpost app also to deliver the package. The vehicle also had a steward on board who could always take over if necessary. This is obligatory in Belgium and actually on European law these days. I'm going to stop here with the little movie and explain you all where it's going further. We made quite a lot of learnings out of this trial, as well on cargo hitching as on autonomous vehicles. First of all, we made a lot of media attention due to the fact that the technology of autonomous vehicles had high expectations. This came also with a bit of disillusionment. People expected this vehicle to perform as if it was a normal car with a normal driver. Though, as a project and as a society, we do not accept any kind of accident to happen with the autonomous vehicle. Thus, the vehicle provider also had set up quite high safety parameters. This meant that the vehicle would take at all time a lot of distance of any moving object on the route. Also, if it could think, the AI in the system would think that any kind of accident could happen, the vehicle would stop immediately. This downsized the overall speed of the vehicle very much. Also, on policy level, we had quite some difficulties. First of all, to retain a permit for testings. Due to the fact that it was the first time we had on open road effective testings. It took us about 6 months, so if you would like to replicate this kind of test, I would suggest start early with permit demand. Also, on the cargo hitching level, the parcel delivery, we saw quite some difficulties, namely the locker was not used that much. Why? Mainly because for users it was quite difficult to make sure the vehicle would be where you needed it to be in time. Mainly if you have to demand a vehicle to stop somewhere, you need to go there and you need to wait until the vehicle is there. Waiting is not something that humans like to do. Therefore, it was easier, not therefore faster, but easier to go to a static locker and deliver your package there. On the other side, we expected quite some difficulties for postmen to reach the vehicle and deliver packages or take them out. We saw that this was actually in real life not a difficulty at all. The postman would just run up to the vehicle, it would stop, and he would empty the locker in about 20 to 30 seconds and the vehicle could continue. So on a time issue, we saw no difficulties. I would not say that this trial was no success. On the other hand, I would say it needs some adaptation to ensure a better outcome the next time. For the last part of this presentation, I would like to take you to the city of Bremen. In Bremen, we are working on a trial that consolidates last mile delivery to the inner city by delivering all goods to a freight village about 10 kilometers outside of the city center. There, it would be delivered to the inner city at small micro-hubs. The micro-hubs in the inner city, 3 in total, have about the size of a parking space for a car. What's special about this is that the last mile would be delivered with cargo bikes, but not any kind. Cargo bikes that could pick up a pallet-sized box, and those boxes are containerized or let's say have a fixed measurement, which would downsize the handling time a lot, and which is of course in last mile delivery, in repackaging, the biggest cost. And therefore, a big optimization in your total costs. This trial existed already before the start of the project, with support of the city. This made it a bit difficult to change this trial that it would fit in the project methodology, though we could say that this is quite a successful story, as it started out with 1 hub and is now already this has already grown to 3 hubs in total, and is expected to grow even more. We've reached the end of this little presentation. If you would like to have some more information on ULaaDS, do not hesitate to contact me or visit the website ulaads.eu. Thank you and goodbye.